Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Big Pickle by J.J. Knight, narrated by Chris Chambers and Loretta Rawlins. 1. Jace. It's pretty great when a new pickle comes into the world. Today my cousin Greta is giving birth. Like, literally, right now. She's walking the halls and refuses to lie in bed. Her husband Jude is off talking to the doctor, hoping they can convince Greta to lie down and accept an epidural. Her pain is great. She's already cussed out all the nurses. But Greta hates needles. This is a fear we share. Since I'm on her side, Greta asked me to walk the halls with her to escape the hostility. She stops every few minutes to let out a rather alarming groan. I've texted both my brothers and my dad to walk with me because I have this terrible, awful feeling my cousin is going to squeeze out a kid on the linoleum floor, and it'll be my fault. They'll say since I hated needles and spouted off about how horrible they were when we were kids, that I'm the one who poisoned Greta on them. And that's why she's currently walking the halls of Mercy Hospital, deep into labor pains, and refusing to even put in an IV. It's on me. Totally. I'm the eldest of all the cousins. I'm the Big Pickle. I was a tyrant in our youth. I made everybody listen to me, follow my lead, do what I say. Especially when needles were involved. I provided detailed descriptions of the pediatrician's office, so the cousins knew where to flee when the vaccine shot came out. And here we are, still on the run. Greta's wheat blonde hair sticks to her forehead in sweaty clumps. She wears two blue hospital gowns, one open to the back and one to the front, to avoid having to worry about drafts. I hold her arm as we walk along the hall, the occasional visitor looking at us with alarm as they pass. Maybe needles aren't that bad, I venture. She cuts me off. Shut up, Jace. I'm trying to have a baby here. Wouldn't it be better in bed? With sheets? And a doctor? Walking helps labor go faster. We've been walking half an hour. Shut up, Jace! I shut up. We make it a few more steps when suddenly, Greta's face goes red. She bends over and squats smack in the middle of the hall. The groan that comes out of her mouth would scare off a pride of mountain lions. I look around frantically for a doctor, a nurse, a janitor, anybody. Why is nobody outside their rooms? We're at least 10 miles from the nursing station. You okay, Greta? She huffs in several big breaths. I think he's coming. What? She lets out another long screech, and I do the only thing I can think of, hearkening back to my football days. I lunge to the floor between her legs and hold out my hands to make the catch. My brother, Max, got a picture. Of course he did. While Greta holds baby Caden, who was born quite properly in her bed a solid hour after my baby dive, Max uploads the shot of me on the floor, my hands outstretched beneath the hem of my cousin's gown, to his Instagram. I'm going to kill him, but not in front of the baby. He and my youngest brother Anthony snicker over it endlessly. Bastards. We're about to get in a shoving match like we're 12 instead of pushing 30, when the great matriarch of the family, Grandma Alma, comes in. Boys, behave, she orders. We stand still like we always do. Let me see that child. Grammy moves to the bed, her orthopedic shoes squeaking on the floor. She's spry for 80, and still runs the original deli of the Pickle clan, deep in the heart of Queens. My other cousin Sonny helps her. Delis definitely run in the pickle blood. My dad owns the massive Manhattan Pickle, which takes up an entire city block. As each of the three Pickle's sons ventured off for college, he built a franchise for us in our chosen towns. Anthony is the baby of the brothers. He's dressed casually in jeans and a t-shirt that reads, "Another one bites the crust." He's 26 and runs the deli in Boulder, where he went to culinary school. Max, our middle brother, is 2 years younger than me. He is undoubtedly the alpha. He's a workout junkie, and he's tricked out like a bodybuilder. His deli is in L.A. Dad built my deli, Austin Pickle, while I was at the University of Texas. I rarely visit it. Sure, it's an all-right town. I show up for the big music festivals and drop in whenever a blizzard hits up here. But my little deli does fine without me. Probably better. Grammy turns from where she's been cooing over the baby. "Where's Sherman?" she asks, her forehead crinkling in a way that makes us boys stand even straighter. Max speaks up. "He went to get some balloons." Grammy nods. She settles in a rocking chair near the bed. "Good to see all you boys in the same place." "We wouldn't miss it," Anthony says. A voice booms from the doorway. "It's about time we all got together." It's Dad, unmistakable in pressed khakis and a freshly ironed button-down. He holds a bouquet of blue balloons so enormous that he must have depleted the stock in the gift store. "Oh, Uncle Sherman," Greta exclaims. "That's a lot of balloons." He peers around them, his hair a perfect gray wave. "Just want to make sure the newest pickle knows he's welcome." "He's actually a Jones," Jude says from the corner. "Every pickle's a pickle," Dad insists, and his tone reminds everyone that nobody is to argue with him. He sets the base of the balloon cluster on a side table and approaches us, hand extended. I give him a hefty shake, like he expects. "Jace," he says, "I hear you tried to make the winning catch." I sigh. I'm never going to live that down. He turns to Max. "Now that's a physique. You trying to make your old man look weak?" Max nods. "You make it too easy, Dad." Dad mock punches him in the shoulder. "You look good." When Dad extends a hand to Anthony, he instead pulls Dad into a hug. "Great to see you." Dad claps him on the back. "You remind me so much of your mother." Everybody goes quiet. Mom died 10 years ago, a loss that never seems to get easier. "Thank you," Anthony says. "Saving the old bat for last, are you?" Grammy calls from her corner. "Always the best for last, Mother." Dad approaches her rocking chair. I glance over at Max. I still want to kill him. He gives me a sneer. "How's the Playboy Mansion?" "Shut up." "I saw you went out with that actress. She was terrible in that frat boy movie." "Shut up." He laughs. "I'm surprised you graced us with your presence." I was already in town. "Hey," Greta calls from the bed. "Pay attention to the real hero here." Dad cups the baby's tiny head. "A new pickle son in the family." "You going to give him a franchise?" Grammy asks. "I think the deli business is on your side of the family," Greta says. She gazes down on her son. "Caden can be whoever he wants." I feel a twinge of jealousy. As the eldest pickle, I've been expected to toe the line in the deli business. Sometimes it feels all I've done since leaving home is try to escape it. Dad clasps his hands behind his back and faces the three of us skulking in the corner. It seems my own sons don't want to settle down. Why, Greta's the youngest Pickle, and here she is, married and providing my brother Martin a grandchild. Where are Martin and Fran? Grammy asks. On a flight, Greta answers. Caden wasn't due for 2 more weeks. Dad clears his throat. We're glad to be here for you, Greta. It's about time my boys started putting family first. Max's eyebrows draw together in concern. I know what he's thinking. Lecture incoming. We think we're saved when a family friend arrives at the door. It's Del Brandt, a New York billionaire who helped Dad find properties to buy as he expanded for us sons. He's like an uncle to us, and his acquisition of an unexpected baby was the talk at our family table a year ago. But apparently, he's part of whatever Dad's working up to. Thank you for coming, Del, Dad says. I think the boys will have questions for someone as experienced as you when they hear what I have to say. All 3 of us glance at each other anxiously. What's going on? Dad paces in front of where we stand like soldiers lined up for inspection. When Greta announced she was having a baby, I started thinking about the future. The Pickle franchise is a really big deal. Chuckles fill the room, since Dad has inadvertently repeated the chain's punny slogan. A really big dill. He shuts us all up with one steely gaze. The delis have sustained my generation, as well as you boys. His eyes meet ours. He gestures to the baby. And it should help any member of the family who chooses to be a part of it. Damn straight, Grammy adds. Dad nods at her. But it's time for me to begin the process of stepping down. Anthony gasps. Dad, why? I'm not getting any younger, and I want to make sure the franchise is successful for generations to come. Grammy speaks up. Sherman, you're not going to die anytime soon. You're fit as a fiddle. That may be. But it's time these boys took over the business. It's getting beyond me anyway, with social media and all. And there's one thing I do know. The company needs a strong leader. One leader. He looks at each of us boys, and we all tense. Del nods in agreement. It's easy for a chain to have conflicting goals if it doesn't remain unified as it transfers from one leader to another. What are they getting at? Dad continues. The 3 of you have handled the business in different ways, but I wanted to give you all one opportunity to show me who loves it the most. So, only one of us can love it the most? Anthony asks. He is the soft-hearted brother, so of course he's worried about how we'll all take it. Dad nods, and visions of not having an income flash in my head. Will all the franchises go to the winning brother? What the hell would I do instead? But my shoulders relax as Dad says, Each of you will continue to run the deli you currently possess. However, control of the franchise, including the Manhattan Pickle here in New York, will go to one son. Max elbows me. Yeah, I'm the oldest Pickle. I get it. I'm supposed to step up. I glance at Del. His eyes are also on me. Great. This is definitely going to cut into my time at the beach. But then Dad drops the final bombshell. The son with the highest profits between this day, March 1st, and the end of the year, will be named the winner. Anthony, Max, and I glance at each other uneasily. Dad has never pitted us against each other. Not when we were small, not when we all picked different sports in adolescence, and certainly not when we began running our own business. Why is he doing it now? Dad clears his throat. When you check your email, you'll find our accountant has prepared a financial statement for each deli. Once you know where you stand compared to the others, you can work on where you want to be by December. My phone buzzes. I hear a tone from Max's pocket, then Anthony's. Dad sure planned this out. Anyone who wants to confer with Dell, take this opportunity, Dad says. He's bought and sold more businesses than I have shirts. Think more in the bottles of shampoo range, Dell says, and Dad shakes his head. Anthony immediately heads toward him, clearly ready to get any advice he can. My head is still spinning. Dad gestures to us. Boys, one of you go pick up some deli trays. I'll call them ahead. Then we'll enjoy this glorious day as a new pickle has been born healthy and happy. I'll do it, I say. I want to look at my email alone. I haven't seen the books on my franchise in months, maybe over a year. Okay, maybe never. It hasn't been an issue. The franchise does fine. It doesn't need me. But is it enough for me to take over the entire chain? Will it prove I'm the leader of my brothers? Dad almost surely expects me to win. When lectures are handed out, I'm usually the target. I hurry down the hall to the elevator. While I wait, I pull up the email from the accountant. Now, hold up. Before I tell you what it says, I want to make sure you're all on my side. You know I'm competent, right? Other than maybe the baby dive. And, I guess, what I said about beach time. Okay, maybe I'm a colossal screw-up. But I really do know a thing or two about delis. I grew up in them. I pickled baby dills with Grammy Alma as soon as I could sit on a stool. It's in my blood. Even so, I have to tell you, when I read that email, something curdled in my stomach. Despite owning the oldest spin-off franchise and having the most experience, I'm not even close to the other delis in gross, net, or growth. In every single metric, I'm in the same place. Dead last. As I review the figures more closely, I realize it's worse than that. I'm barely keeping the doors open. What has happened? What did I do? I head down to the lobby, realizing my father has thrown down the gauntlet. And I know one thing is true. Something is terribly wrong with Austin Pickle.
2. Nova. I've had it with tiny pickles. They are straight up no use to me. I huff out my annoyance, kicking my heavy boot against the leg of the mixing table. My coworker Lamont has opened no less than 6 buckets of the supposedly biggest dill pickles in the United States of America. I've seen bigger dill pickles on a dollar store party tray, and sometimes unsolicited in my DMs. I shove that disgusting thought away as Lamont plunges his plastic-gloved hands into another drum of pickle juice. Nova, I don't think this is the same company we usually get them from. He's right. The buckets used to be a pale yellow with the logo of a girl in some old-fashioned costume. These are generic white with the word pickles in bold black. Do we have the paperwork? I ask him. Lamont withdraws his hands. I haven't seen papers on a delivery since Susan left. It's all digital. I stare at his face for a moment. His warm brown eyes are friendly, even though a hint of concern crosses his features. I hired him myself because our last produce stalker quit without notice, and Susan, Austin Pickle's head manager, has been on extended medical leave for almost 6 months in Hawaii. Nobody believes she's actually sick. Lamont found her private Instagram, all beach pics and cocktails with umbrellas. She might even still be getting a paycheck. We don't know. This has left me doing the manager's job on a regular employee's pay, which I have tried to bring up with our dear boss, Jace Pickle, 100 bazillion times. But that man is impossible to get a hold of. He clearly doesn't give one rat's ass about his deli. It's a good thing I've never met him in person, because I would probably punch him in the face. Lamont arranges the pickles he salvaged on the cutting board. Do you think Susan is changing our distributors from her medical leave? I shrug. I sure didn't change it. The supplier chooses the pickles. It's details like this that make my job harder than it has to be, and without access to the ordering system, which Susan has kept to herself, I can't even double-check anything. For all I know, this deli is one order away from bankruptcy. Except our lunch rush just ended, and our crew made a hell of a lot of sandwiches. We take in scads of money every day. But I still have a pickle problem. So, what do? Lamont asks. We can't make the stuffed pickles with pickles this small. There's not enough room for the stuffing. I close my eyes a minute, trying to keep my cool. I know. And we have an order for 100 stuffed pickles for tomorrow. I have to deliver them at 10 a.m. I know, Lamont. As I keep my vision black for a moment, I contemplate A. Screaming, B. Throwing pickles, C. Running off to Hawaii on medical leave, D. Shoving pickles up our dear owner's. The bell jingles to signal a customer has arrived out front. Lamont and I are the solitary crew mid-afternoon on a weekday. I'll take it, I say. Keep searching these pickles. If we can't find enough to work with, do what we did last week when the new salami was too salty. Grab cash from the register and head to Costco? I nod. I hate doing that because it messes with the books, but technically, I'm not even in charge of the books. And if someone complains about the size of the pickles or the salt in the salami, it's me they come to. Because, like it or not, I'm currently the face of Austin Pickle. I push through the swinging door into the front of the deli and almost stop in my tracks. The man who has entered looks like he came straight from a GQ photo shoot. I can see the headline, "The latest fashion-forward look for the man who has it all." His pants are fitted like they were sewn directly on his body. I don't know what to call the color. Camel, I guess, or something fancy like bleached tobacco. His shirt is a heathery sort of blue, perfectly pressed and tapered from shoulder to waist. His shoes shine so brightly they actually reflect the table legs. He's out of place in our casual city, but that's not unusual. With our downtown location, we get a lot of visitors. Some of them have come from New York and want to compare our pickle deli with the original in Manhattan. I make it a matter of personal pride when they tell us ours is just as good and even better, seeing as they didn't have to wait 45 minutes in line. Fresh, fast, perfect. Those are the words I keep in my head when I serve something from Austin Pickle. Can I help you? The man appraises me as he saunters from the door to the counter. I don't know you, he says. I plan to be friendly and say something cute like, tell me your favorite sandwich and we'll be best friends. But the pickle thing has put me in a bad mood. So, instead, I say, you're not from around here. He takes a step back, an expression I don't expect crossing his face. Concern? Was I too harsh? I quickly correct myself. Of course, nobody's a stranger in Austin Pickle for more than a few seconds. Tell me how you take your pickle. I slap on a smile so fake it could win a damn Oscar. The man relaxes and the moment passes. That's good. The last thing I need is a nasty review that gets Jace Pickle all over my case when I'm already struggling to keep his stupid deli going. Truthfully, I'm counting on a promotion, or at least a good reference for another job. I need to get back to college, and some of the restaurants in town give scholarships to their employees. if this one goes well, I can use it as a leg up somewhere better. The man leans on the counter. Every strand of his hair is in place, dark and cropped short. The stubble on his chin is perfectly clipped to the precise length to look brooding and sexy. His jaw is sharp enough to break ice. In fact, the frozen parts of my anatomy are already beginning to thaw. But he's absolutely not my type. I like my men in jeans and flip-flops, graphic tees for local businesses, well-worn, and no fuss. I bet this guy irons his underwear. "What did you say your name was?" he asks. "Nova." "How long have you worked here?" Why is he asking this? "It'll be a year this summer. Last summer I'd run out of money, but stayed in my classes through the fall semester. I'd only been working part-time, but when Susan took off and most of the employees got worried and quit, I found myself the senior member of the pickle staff, so I assumed her responsibilities. I hadn't thought it would go on this long." "And your last name?" he asks. Why does he need my last name? My neck tingles with alarm. I go for the redirect. "Would you like to sample some of our pickles? We have 12 varieties. We're not the sort of deli that slaps a random spear on the side of your plate. We take pride in the original flavors we produce." "I'm actually here." He stops talking when Lamont emerges from the back room and opens the cash register. "What's he doing?" the man asks. "Someone's got to buy the pickles," Lamont says, lifting a stack of 20s. He fans them out in front of me. "You think this will do it?" I nod. "Get whatever you need." Lamont gives me his signature broad grin and claps me on the back. "I can always count on you. This will totally solve my problem." He takes off out the front door. "Did that employee document the money he took from the register?" the man asks. He sure is pushy about how we run the store. "It's fine. We found ourselves in a pickle shortage and he's grabbing some more. We do love our pickles around here." I plaster on another fake smile. The man takes a step back from the counter, rubbing his hand across his cheek. He seems terribly concerned with what just happened, and visions of another type of online review dance in my head. "You know," I say, "you look like you could use a sandwich. How about one on the house? Can I recommend the pastrami and rye? It goes wonderfully with our bread and butter jalapeno pickle." But the man doesn't seem to be paying any attention to me. He circles the room slowly, occasionally touching a chair or gazing at a photo on the wall. I start to worry he's unhinged. I inch closer to the telephone in case I need to call the police. "Are you okay?" I call out. He moves near the door, and I begin to pray he will leave. I don't have time for well-dressed weirdos, no matter how good-looking they are. And with Lamont gone, I'm alone until the cleanup crew arrives. He notices the help wanted sign in the front window and picks it up. Good Lord, please tell me he's not here for a job. I put that sign up yesterday, and 2 people have filled out applications. Neither one seems very promising, but compared to this crazy guy circling the store, they're starting to look good. The man turns around. "Who does the hiring for the store?" Oh no, I knew it. "Well, normally it would be our general manager, Susan." I hesitate, not wanting to give this lunatic her last name either. "But she's on medical leave." "So, who is interviewing the people who come in to apply?" I do not want to tell him that it's me. Maybe I should pawn it off on the owner. Yes, that's exactly what I'll do. It'll serve Jace Pickle right for never being around. He can deal with this crazy man. "You can contact the owner," I suggest. "His name is Jace Pickle." Shoot, he's walking back to the counter. I lay my hand on top of the phone. One wrong move, Buster, and I'm picking this sucker up. "You haven't had any new hires since the manager left?" I falter. Well, sure, but that other
Sample complete. Ready to continue?